Welcome to House, your all-in-one real estate investment platform. Every deal you track lives here with live scores and portfolio metrics. Click plus new deal and enter the property details. H2H saves it and starts analyzing the moment you hit create. Attach purchase agreements, rent rolls, and inspection reports to the deal's vault. Everything stays. Click plus new deal and enter the property details. H2H saves it and starts analyzing the moment you hit create. Attach purchase agreements, rent rolls, and inspection reports to the deal's vault. Everything stays organized by property. From your input, H2H computes a 0-100 investment score across 6 factors: cash flow, return, financing, risk, growth, and due diligence. Compare financing options side by side, interest rate, payment, and DSCR to find structure that keeps cash. Welcome to House to House. Welcome to House, your all-in-one real estate investment platform. Welcome to House, your all-in-one real estate investment platform. Every deal you track lives here with live scores and portfolio metrics. Click Plus New Deal and enter the property details. H2H saves it and starts analyzing the moment you hit create. Attach purchase agreements, rent rolls, and inspection reports to the deal's vault. Everything stays organized by property. From your inputs, H2H computes a 0-100 investment score across 6 factors: cash flow, return, financing, risk, growth, and due diligence. Compare financing options side by side, interest rate, payment, and DSCR to find the structure that keeps cash flow healthy. Project monthly cash flow over the year so you can see exactly when the property pays you and how reserves hold up. Once you commit, the deal joins your portfolio. Total value, equity, and annual cash flow roll up automatically. Export a branded share-ready report, deal summary, score, AI analysis, and financials for lenders, partners, or your records. Start with a free account or upgrade to H2H Pro for unlimited deal analysis, AI insights, advanced calculators, portfolio management, and professional reports. Run the AI Deal Analyzer for a clear breakdown of strengths, risks, and opportunities, plus a plain English invest or pass recommendation. Start with a free account or upgrade to H2H Pro for unlimited deal analysis, AI insights, advanced calculators, portfolio management, and professional reports. Run the AI Deal Analyzer for a clear breakdown of strengths, risks, and opportunities, plus a plain English invest or pass
Hello, everyone. I'm waiting for others to join in. Hi, if you're here, just drop a comment and give me a thumbs up if the sound is good and you can hear me right. Please, if you're here, just drop on the comments where you're watching me from. So if you're here, comment, like, share, and invite everyone to our live session. Just give it one more minute for others to join in. If you have any question that you want me to address, please drop it in the comment section. So, hi everyone, welcome back to Heart with Priska, where we'll have great conversation, practical wisdom, and purposeful living. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite topics, multifamily real estate investing. So, whether you are just getting started or already looking at your first deal, this session is for you. If you are new here, hi, my name is Priska Wachuku. I'm a civil engineer, management professional. I'm a real estate investor and the founder of H2H, uh, one stop app for everything real estate. So, welcome, everyone, once again to this live session. Please do me well to drop a comment, share this live video, and tell me where you are watching from. Wherever you are watching from, put it in the chat. Let me know where you are watching from today. Drop in the chat. I love seeing where this community is stretching to. So here is what I have for you guys tonight. If you are, and depending on where you are, or this afternoon. Um, so whenever I talk about real estate, I usually hear the same people asking me different questions, different people, different locations, different environment. They keep asking me the same question. And I thought I should do a live today to kind of help to answer some of these questions. I'm going to pick my top 5 questions that people usually ask. And I hope at the end of this section, it's going to be meaningful and useful to you. So whether you are a brand new person into real estate, you've never bought a single property before, or you've been sitting on the fence thinking about your first deal for the past years now, I hope that tonight or today gives you 3 things. Gives you clarity, gives you confidence, and maybe the courage to finally take that first step. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever you take, your drink, your notebook, whatever wherever you're watching from, and let's dive right in. So, one of the first questions I usually get is why multifamily instead of single family? Why multifamily? Why are you interested? Why are you so much interested in multifamily? Because this is a question I usually get constantly, and I want to answer it as honest as possible, which means I have to take you back to where my journey actually started. Because here's the thing, people don't usually expect, you know, uh, they don't actually know the how I started my journey. So I didn't just start with multifamily. Surprisingly, I started with single family. Way back, a friend of mine introduced me to real estate investment group. There's this particular group of people who pool their money together to buy single family homes. I was interested. I said yes. I jumped right in. It was my first real exposure to property investment. So, my very first time actually working alongside other investors. And that experience actually exposed me and taught me so much. So, our very first investment as a group, that means the single family group, I was super excited. I participated. And that kind of excitement where you check the listing photos over and over again. You are so carried away by the beauty of that particular property. For the first month after we've closed the deal, we couldn't find a tenant, not one, which meant that there was no rental income. The mortgage did not care whether we have a tenant or not. We needed to pay the mortgage. The expenses did not pause or wait for us. They kept coming. So as partners, we found ourselves reaching into our own pockets every single month just to keep that property afloat while we search for the right tenant for the property. That period was actually very, very stressful. I want to be very clear that about something. It wasn't anybody's fault. Not that we did wrong. It's just that that is one of the major risk of owning a single rental property. If that particular one unit is empty, your income drops to zero. Um, and also be able to pay your mortgage becomes a problem, and so you have to take in money from your own personal property to from your own personal purse to be able to do that. So later on, we were able to, as a group, to buy a second property instead of one. And the difference, I could feel the difference in terms of pressure. When we bought the second property, which was had 2 units, and you could the pressure that we had when we bought the first one, where we had to be using our personal money to augment to pay this mortgage, was eliminated when we bought the second property, which had 2 units. And that started getting interesting for me. Why? Because with 2 units, you have two income instead of one. So even when you have the situation of vacancy, at least you still have 1 unit rental income to fall back to. And that was where something began to click in me, seeing the difference between the two properties and how I had lesser pressure having 2 properties. So if 2 units can reduce the pressure this much, what will happen if I have a 6 unit or a 12 unit or a 20 unit apartment? So, what does that teach me? It taught me that stability is not just about the property you buy, it's about how many income streams are attached to it. So, there's a difference between having one single unit, 6 of them in different locations, than having one building having 6 units. So, here is what changed everything for me. Around that same time, I got introduced to a different investment community. This particular community was focused entirely on multifamily real estate. And that was where my whole perspective shifted. The investors in that room helped me to understand the real differences between single family and multifamily investing. And I want to say this clearly because I don't want you to, misunderstand me. I'll try to be as clear as possible. This group that I belong to, they were not actually tearing down single family homes. Many of them started exactly from owning single family properties. So they're not actually saying that single family is bad, multifamily is good, but they showed me how both operate. So when they showed me is that how multifamily properties, the stability that it offers, the stronger cash flow, this particular part mattered a lot to me because cash flow to me is king, you know, and the opportunity for me to be able to scale. So multifamily was a scalable real business. I took the time to actually compare both parts. I weighed the advantages, I weighed the challenges, and the more I learned, the more I became convinced that multifamily aligned with where I want to go long term. You know, that does not mean that single family investing is a bad strategy. There are different ways to go about it. It simply means that after living in both worlds, after trying out single family property, and I tried the other side, I will tell you that the multifamily investment match with my long-term goal. So, um, joining that second group, there was a genuine turning point in my journey. I was suddenly surrounded by people who have been buying, operating, and growing multifamily properties for years. These people weren't just talking about investing, you know, from the books. They have lived it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. These people were actually doing and closing deals week after week. One of the biggest gifts I have for belonging in this group was mentorship. I was paired with a coach who worked closely with me from day one. He walked me through the fundamentals, he answered all my questions, even the ones I was embarrassed to ask. He challenged me the way I was thinking and gave me guidance that I couldn't have gotten from any book, from any real estate book. And I was confident because these people were actually living it. Beyond the coaching, I had access to books, I had access to training materials, had access to recorded mastermind from years past, case studies from investors who have already done this before. And honestly, I spent countless hours just studying how successful investors evaluated deals. So, how they raise capital, how they manage their properties, and how they built wealth that lasted. But here's what surprised me. The education that I got from them was far beyond real estate. And like most of you know, I'm a new immigrant to Canada, and there were things that people here just take for granted, like things like credit history, mortgage financing, lending requirements, business structure, taxes, banking relationship. All of it was new to me, all of it. But in this community, they didn't just teach me multifamily investing. I was taught how to do business in this country. And I cannot put a price on what that knowledge has been to me, the worth of what I have learned, being a part and a member of this community. I have discovered that one of the biggest lessons in all of this is real estate is a business. And once you understand the principles underneath real estate, I'm talking about cash flow, talking about risk management, talking about financing, talking about negotiation, talking about partnership systems, long-term planning. You begin to notice that there is a correlation between these and how you typically run a normal business. So the same principle apply to almost every business that you could ever build. So whether you are buying an apartment building or buying an existing business or starting from the scratch, these fundamentals, the same principles do not change. The same principle it takes you to succeed in one is what it will take you for you to succeed in the other. Um, that's why I tell people that real estate taught me far more than how to buy properties. It taught me how to think like a business owner. And once you start thinking that way, you make decisions differently, not just in real estate, in every corner of entrepreneurship that you touch. So, looking back, I realized I wasn't just investing in real estate, I was investing in my own education. And that investment has paid returns far beyond any single properties that I've ever participated in. So, if you're here, you're still listening to me, can you please drop in the comments where you're watching me from? So, going back to the actual question, why multifamily investing? So let me start with something very important. There's nothing wrong with single family, like I said earlier. Nothing. Many incredible investors built real wealth starting with one rental property. This was never about right versus wrong. It's just about building the strategy that lines up with your goal. So you know your goal, you know what you want to achieve. For me, that strategy became multifamily. Why? Because I wasn't only looking for property ownership. I was looking for a business that could grow, that is scalable. You know, the first reason is this. I thought about cash flow stability. Let me give you a picture. You own one rental house, your tenant moves out. So what happens to your rental income? It goes to zero. And you still have to pay your mortgages, you still have to pay your taxes, you still have to pay your insurance, your utilities, maintenance, everything does not stop because you do not have tenants. You still have to pay it. But let me give you another scenario. You have a 6 unit building. One tenant decides to leave. Five others are still paying rent. Your income may reduce, but it doesn't stop. That difference might sound small, but but over time it creates real tangible stability. Point number two is efficiency. Think about it this way. Um, just one building, you have one roof, one parking lot, one insurance policy, one location, one property manager, and yet you have multiple units generating income for you. So imagine six apartments under one roof. More often than not, it's far more efficient than chasing down six separate houses across the city. Point number three, and this one is what beginners rarely realize. With commercial multifamily properties, you can actually create value. Residential homes most times are based on the market appreciation. You're waiting for the market to come up for you to appreciate. But in multifamily buildings, value is majorly based on the income that that particular building is producing. So once you can improve occupancy of the building, you can be able to cut down its unnecessary expenses, and you renovate strategically and raise rental income, you discover that the value of your building increases. So it's not based on the market or what's going on there. You are not sitting to wait, hoping that the market, will do the work for you. Finally, the fourth point I want us to consider is the impact. I genuinely love this part. Real estate isn't only about numbers on a spreadsheet. Family lives in this building, children grow up in them. So for you to be in that place whereby you're able to solve a problem, because Canada has a housing problem, and being a part of this, whereby you're able to provide a clean, safe, and well managed housing while building wealth, is something that is worth being a part of. So these are the reasons why multifamily became my focus. So, so here is what I want you to walk away with from the very first question. It was never about copying my strategy or anyone's strategy. It's about you yourself that is listening to me, understanding your goals and choosing the path that you actually think will support the life that you are trying to build. So I want to now dive into the second question that people usually ask me. How much money do I need to start? Because whenever we hear about multifamily um, investing, a lot of people think that, oh, it's for people that have money. And that's the biggest myth in real estate right now. So many people believe that investing is only for people who are sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that is not true. Now, I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that money does not matter. It does. Savings matters. Good financial habits, of course, it matters. Money is not the only asset that you need to bring to the table when it has to do with multifamily investing. There are so many paths to this. There are so many ways in which you can achieve this. Some people save patiently for a down payment. Some partner with family, trusted friends. Some pull equity from the home that they already own. Some people try to raise capital from investors. Others try to start small and like single family and then work their way up to multifamily, as long as you have a plan. But here's the question. I always encourage people to ask, instead of how much do I need, I think the right question should be, how can I become investment ready? That means this includes improving your credit, learning how lenders actually evaluate deals, understanding financial statements, learning how to analyze cash flow, building relationship, networking with investors, mortgage brokers, lawyers, accountants, real estate professionals, because this will open your mind and expose you to the opportunities that are available. education and preparation open doors. So the first thing you should be thinking about is not just the money, but getting prepared. So I'll be honest with you, my own journey did not start with me writing offers. It started with me learning, um, reading books, listening to podcasts, showing up at networking events, analyzing these. I wasn't even ready to buy yet, just for practice, meeting people who were years ahead of me on this path, asking questions that sometimes can be very embarrassing to ask, making mistakes and learning again. So, what am I trying to say? Preparation helps you build confidence, and confidence leads to action. When you're confident in that thing, you tend to act towards it. Now, this brings me to something else because education doesn't just end when you close the book. One of the best decisions I ever made on this real estate journey was saying yes to property walkthroughs. Yeah, I go out there, I walk the property, you know. Since I started learning multifamily, I've walked through more apartment buildings than I can count. I've analyzed deal after deals. I've visited properties in neighborhoods all over. I've and I've noticed that every single walkthrough taught me something. Here is what I discovered. There is no amount of reading can replace seeing a property with your own two eyes. A listing can look so beautiful. They can show you beautiful pictures, impressive pictures, and but there are things that you only notice when you are actually standing in the property. You start to notice the condition of the building, how well that building is being maintained. You get a feel of the neighborhood where the building is located. You know, this no Google Street View can give you that particular feeling. Sometimes you get to speak with the tenant, you get to speak with the property manager, and they will tell you things that you will never find in any online listing. Another benefit of this is that you start building relationship even when that particular building isn't the right fit for you. You you now meet brokers, owners, property managers, and other professionals who may have access to a building that may fit the particular criteria that you're actually looking for. So every single conversation that you have in this journey is very, very valuable and it will help you to grow. Not every walkthrough will end in an offer. No, far from it. I've walked into buildings and I know almost instantly that this particular building is not for me. Sometimes it's about the location, sometimes it's about the condition of the building, sometimes the numbers just doesn't make sense. And that is okay. I've never once treated those visits as if it's a waste of my time. No, I see them as part of my education because every property that you walk sharpens your ability to evaluate the next one. Every deal I walk away from makes me a better person in terms of assessing property. Now, here's what surprised me the most about this whole process. You don't become a good investor only by buying properties. You become a good investor by learning to evaluate properties very well. Sometimes walking away from a deal is just as valuable as buying one. So that a deal does not work doesn't mean that you failed. You are taking along information, things that you have learned from that particular experience. So when you do those numbers and it's not working and you decided to move ahead, you are picking something from that particular process. So I want to pause here before I go to the fourth question. So if you're here, please comment. I want to see your comments. Tell me if you have any questions. At the end of this section, I'll go back to answer questions. So if you have any questions and you're here, you want me to attend to, please go ahead and drop your comments, drop your questions. And then if you're here and you've not subscribed to my channel, I would really, 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 really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. Go to the bell symbol and click on the subscribe button. It is free. This will really, really help me in this journey. So back to the fourth question that I want to address today is, can an immigrant invest? My answer is very simple. Absolutely. And I don't say that theoretically from a place of distance. I'm saying it from a personal experience. Moving to a new country sometimes can feel overwhelming. I don't need to convince anyone watching this who has lived it. You are learning entirely a new system. You are building a career from scratch sometimes. You are trying to establish a credit for the first time because this is very important when it has to do with lending. You are trying to understand the tax system that makes no sense at first glance. You are trying to settle your family. So sometimes it's a lot. You're dealing with a lot at the same time. So real estate investing can feel like something that you want to push to later because you are dealing with a lot at the moment. It's something that you want to do maybe someday in the future. But being an immigrant does not automatically disqualify you from building wealth. What matters more is preparation. Starting today to prepare yourself. Start today to start building your credit, have a stabilized, stable income, and learn how financing actually works. Understand the local market. Surround yourself with experienced professionals who can guide you because that was what I did. I had people holding my hands all through this process. I'm still learning. But here's something I've noticed about immigrants, and I say this with real pride. We are very, very resilient. We've already done the most difficult part. We left our comfort zone and we came into this country, with a country that is totally different from something that we're used to. So we have done the worst. So engaging and the ability to be resilient and adapt and be a problem solver is already a part of you. And this makes you an excellent investor. So have you ever experienced something like this where the thing you thought that was trying to hold you back turns out to be the very thing that is preparing you? I want you to put that in the comment section. Have you ever experienced that where some things that you felt were your challenges, where things that are holding you back was actually preparing you? Because sometimes we tend to compare ourselves with people who have been in this business. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to learn. You have to ask questions. You have to network with people. You have to keep learning and keep preparing yourself and keep improving because you don't know when that particular opportunity will come knocking at your door. So you have to take it one step at a time. So I want to go into the fourth question. Like I said earlier, I have 5 questions in this life to address. Another question people ask me is, what mistakes should beginners avoid? What mistakes should a beginner, if you want to go into this multifamily, you know, if I could sit down with every beginner and help them avoid a handful of mistakes, here are the mistakes that I will try to avoid. Number one, you never buy any property with your emotion. Oh, the property has a very beautiful kitchen. A beautiful kitchen does not pay your mortgage. A fanciful bathroom does not create positive cash flow. I need you to always look at the numbers first. Cash flow, expenses, vacancy rate in that area, the maintenance, the tax, the insurance, the financing. Numbers, numbers, numbers first. Emotions second, always. Number two, never skip due diligence. You have to inspect the property, you have to review the leases, you have to verify the income. You actually verify it. Don't just take what somebody told you about that property. You have to understand local market conditions. Do not rely only on what somebody tells you. Trust, but verify. Number three, do not underestimate expenses. Every property will need repairs. People live from one building to the other. Vacancies happen. Unexpected maintenance happen and you must create allowance for that. Roofs, very expensive, they get old, furnaces change get aged. So you have to plan for this reality. You have to plan for these expenses. You know, do not get carried away by the beauty of the house. Number four, don't try to do everything alone. This is a problem that most immigrants have, especially we Africans. You have to surround yourself with the right lawyer, the right accountant, the right mortgage broker, the right rector, the right property manager, the right mentor. This is very key. A great team can help you save thousands of dollars and it will save you countless headaches when you are suddenly confronted with something that you didn't expect. And finally, don't spend years waiting for that perfect deal. The perfection doesn't exist; it never has. So many people fall into this analysis paralysis where you keep analyzing and analyzing and analyzing. You're waiting for that perfect deal that check every single box, and learn enough to make an informed decision when it's necessary. Take action. Growth comes from experience, not from waiting on the sidelines forever. Take actions, meet people, converse, collaborate with people. Don't do it alone. Question number five. What's your biggest investing lesson? So, very key friends asked me that recently. So, if I have to narrow down to just one lesson, it will be this: never fall in love with the property. Fall in love with the numbers. What are the numbers telling you? So buildings are absolutely beautiful, stunning, but beauty doesn't guarantee profitability. If the numbers don't work, please, please, please walk away. There will always be another opportunity. Always, there is always another opportunity. I've learned something else too. Relationship creates opportunities. So the many conversations that you have, partnership, the more doors that are being open to me. The more I relate to people, the more I tell people what I do, the more I network, the more I ask questions, the more I'm putting myself out here, like I'm doing right now, the more I'm opening doors to collaborate and work with people. Success is in the experience. Success is working with people. It's not a solo journey. And maybe my biggest lesson of all is that investing is a marathon. Investing is not a sprint, sharp, 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 sharp. We live in a culture that celebrates overnight success. We want it get rich quick syndrome. You know, um, is investing is a marathon. It takes time, and you build it one step at a time, one pillar at a time. You know, so here's something that reaches far beyond real estate. Don't let fear stop you from preparing because preparation will build your confidence and confidence will lead you to act. Action creates results. I've also discovered one more lesson, and this one has saved me from a lot of disappointment over a period of time. Never consider money that have not entered your account. Somebody promised you, we're going to work together, I'm going to be your business partner. If the person hasn't made any financial commitment, do not consider the person your financial investor. They'll tell you, I'm interested, I would like to invest with you, I would like to come into this deal. Can you please count me into this deal? Those conversations, they are very, very encouraging. They feel good in the moment. But I've learned that until that money gets to my lawyer's account, there is no, you're not yet my financial partner. you know until those agreements are actually signed, I don't assume that anybody is my partner. So because things change, people's circumstances change, priorities shift. Sometimes people genuinely intend to invest and then life happens. So you don't bank on people who you don't yet have an agreement with, who have not made any financial commitment. You don't bank on those promises. I've learned to appreciate verbal commitment, but also not to depend on them. You know, you make your plans based on what has been confirmed, not based on what is promised. When the money is not in your account and the documents are not signed, please, please do not go further to make plans based on promissory notes. No, that single lesson has helped me make better decisions. It has made me to manage my expectation and to avoid a lot of unnecessary disappointment. And honestly, it's a principle that reaches far beyond real estate. It also applies to business. It applies to life, you know. So make decisions based on what you can confirm, what you can ascertain, not based on what has been promised to you. So before I'll let you go tonight, I want to leave you all with this. You don't need to know everything before you begin. Every successful investor that I know or have spoken with once asked the basic questions that you are asking right now. Every experienced landlord was once closing on their very first property. You know, every expert that you know today have at some point been a beginner. So you can start your journey today by learning, by asking questions, by reading books, by listening to podcasts, by analyzing those deals, even the ones that you don't intend to buy, by meeting people, by staying teachable, and keep showing up. Wealth is rarely built by accident. Wealth is built intentionally, one informed decision at a time. Thank you all so much for spending this time with me tonight. I really hope this conversation answers some of the questions that have been sitting with you about multifamily investing. So please do me a favor, like and share this live uh, for somebody that you think that may need it. And right now, if you have any question, especially regarding my new app that is out, that app was built from experience and from the need to have everything in one place. Because in a bid to analyze deals, you are using your Excel sheet, you're doing this and you're doing that. It makes the whole things, you know, unmanageable. So the essence of the H2H House to House by Electro, the reason why I created that app is to have a one app where everything that has to do with your portfolio is. So if you are here and you are interested in any of the things I've talked about today, I will encourage you to start free today. Go to elatro.com/app, click on there and play around um, the the app. And if you have any questions regarding the app, you can actually ask me. Okay? Until next time, keep learning, keep preparing, keep building. Once again, I'm Priska Wachko, and I'm happy that you spend this time with me. God bless you. Thank you, and bye bye.